finished reading the Cast Walking series probably about a week ago, and I finished reading Monsters Men, of course, because that's the last one in the series, and I loved it. There will be spoilers in this for all of the series, including the movie. I'm doing a whole entire video on the movie and my thoughts on it, but I will talk about the movie probably a little bit in this video. So yeah, I'm going to be doing my official review over Monsters of Men in this video. So hopefully you enjoy it. There will be spoilers, so sorry about that. I would recommend anyone to read this book though. I'm going to move on now. Thank you for sticking with me if you are still here and don't care about spoilers, and for the people that left, I completely understand. So now let's jump into it. I loved this book so much. I think it is definitely an amazing way to end the series. There's sometimes there are books that you kind of get a letdown when the book ends because it just drags on too much, or they're just going to that final battle and it's not what your expectations are, and I didn't feel that at all. I feel like these characters were written so well in this, and the final battle was done super well too, and there was no final battle or final thing with a character that was just like they wouldn't have done that in real life, or that was out of character or anything like that. I really thought that all the things that happened in this were done really well, and that Patrick Ness is an amazing writer for everything he did in this book. One thing I really, really liked about this book was the spackle. And although the spackle sections could be kind of boring at times, because I didn't quite know what was going on for a majority of it, because it was a big reveal that, like, the sky was the spackle all along. I did not mean to do that, but my brain went to, it's been Agatha all along. Yes, I still do love WandaVision. I know it came out more than a year ago, but I still love that show, and I still will make references to it. I thought it was awesome, and like I said, I did feel kind of lost with it. I was expecting it. After the first couple chapters, I was like, oh yeah, it's the spackle. But I feel like the spackle was mostly done really well, especially the new sky, that, like, was a part of the Ask and the Answer with Todd, and getting to see his character development and their impact on Ben, because Ben comes back in this book too, and it's done in an interesting way where he doesn't talk anymore, he just uses his noise as his way of speaking, which was a brand new idea other than the spackle do it, and it was the first time that we had seen a man do that, because the women don't have noise, and it's the first time we got to see that, and I think that was done really, really well. And I also just loved Ben and Todd's relationship in this book. Getting to see their relationship more in this book was awesome, especially after having that kind of, they were going for, at least, the mayor's and Todd's father-son duo thing. And although I definitely think that was what they were going for, as someone that loves Todd's character, I never fully went for it, because I was like, he is not going to go with it. And it would have shocked me if that's what they ended up doing. If they were like, yeah, Todd is the villain now, he's replacing the mayor, it would have shocked me. I was like, yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that with their main character. And they didn't. So I was just kind of like, okay. But I did like the scenes they had together, and when Todd was like, no, he's actually becoming a better person, although, he was not. And the ending where he's like, Todd, you changed me, and ends up killing himself, that was super, super interesting too. I loved all the duos in this. I loved, of course, I loved Todd and Viola's duo. And the ending, That ending killed me. I was so sad. I was so sad when Todd died. And then when he's like, oh, I'm gonna go find Viola, if that's even her name. And we never saw it. We never saw it. And they're not making another Chaos Walking book. If they do, I'd be shocked. These books came out like 10 years ago. So there's no way that if they're making another one, they haven't already made it. And I'm pretty sure the authors actually said that he doesn't plan on making any more books in this world about Todd and Viola. So it would have been so much better if Todd would have woken up and Viola would have gotten out of her tent and been like, wait, Todd? And Todd would have been like, Viola? And then they ended it there. So at least I know. I'm so angry. I'm so mad about that. I understand. I love cliffhangers too. But when you've been reading 3 books and it ends on a cliffhanger and it's never resolved, it makes you a little betrayed. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I feel betrayed. But like in between books, I love cliffhangers. Like House of Hades. No, Mark of Athena. Mark of Athena into House of Hades is one of the biggest cliffhangers I've ever read, and I love it. I love that book just for the cliffhanger, to be completely honest. I think Mark of Athena is somewhat boring. If it weren't for the fact that Percy and Annabeth like reunite, I would have been kind of boring. But not talking about Percy Jackson in this video. Things like that are awesome, but when you don't ever get to know, it makes me so sad. Because you can do your own headcanon, but it doesn't mean that that's ever resolved and you ever know what's gonna happen. I don't need, like, I don't know, like 19 years later. I don't need that. But I at least need to know that they find each other. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, I loved their characters. I love Todd and Viola so much. All their perspectives are so different, and it's done so well, and I love it. I love those 2 characters so much just because they're so different, but they work so well together. And even as separate characters, which they were separated a lot in this book and in The Ask and the Answer, they still have good character development and they're still good as characters, but when they come together, it just makes you so happy. I don't know about you, but this is kind of sad, but I would look through the pages. I would spoil it for myself. But I would look through the pages and be like, when are they reuniting again? Because I need to read to this page tonight so that in the morning I could read them reuniting. Because I loved when they were separated, but it was so awesome when they would come back together because they were so good characters. And yeah, I loved that part. So I loved those 2 characters so much. I also loved, Bradley and Lee. All the side characters were super interesting too. I would say one thing that Patrick Ness does a really good job is writing characters and making them just very different characters, and you could tell one thing about this character and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's the one character. It's like Todd has his knife. Viola is like the leader. Lee is blind. You could find all these different things and they're all distinctively different, even but if it's not a character trait or just something about them that makes them more memorable. There isn't a single extra character or side character that I don't remember at least one thing about. And for many of those characters, I remember more than that because he wrote them really well. And the world building. That's one thing I also really liked. Just the noise itself and how it was used so many different ways in this book series made it really, really interesting. You can see how with the mayor, the noise he caused with the noise to manipulate others, while others used it for the better and used the noise as their way of communicating, like Ben and the Spackle, or others like Todd tried to quiet their noise because they were embarrassed by it. And you got to see all of these different people and how their opinions on just their day-to-day life changed, and that made them also more interesting and more relatable. Although I have never had to deal with hearing men's thoughts, and I don't ever want to, that seems scary. Yeah, no. It made those characters feel more relatable and more like actual people, because each one was distinctively different. Even people that are related, no two people are the same. Even if you're twins, or even if you're triplets, or whatever, or if you're brother and sister, or if you're married, it doesn't matter. No two people are the same. And I've read books where they're like, okay, all the side characters are very similar. And I didn't feel that at all. So I really liked that too. I loved all the battles in this book too. Seeing the Spackle and the Answer and the Prentice Town men all fighting, and then sometimes coming together and sometimes not, agreeing with one another, and seeing just how all of those people fight and how they solved the issues, and how it was really, really interesting. All the wars that happened in this book, and they were written so well, and I really liked that. Just overall, I think the best part of this book was the characters, but overall, I love this series so much. I would recommend this series to anyone. If you like dystopian, if you like weird, kind of strange books, if you like, slow burn, that's in this too. It's done really well. I don't know. It just, if you like anything about this at all, if this remotely sounds interesting to anything at all, I would really recommend it. Even if it sounds a little strange, but it sounds kind of intriguing, I would still recommend it, because I can't lie. When I first learned about what this book was about, I got kind of confused too. Oh, sorry. The computer that is in this room turned off and made a loud noise. I really love this book though, and I would recommend it to anyone and everyone who wants to read it. Please go check it out. It's really good. And also the movie. The movie is a thing. And the movie's main characters are Mads Mikkelsen, Tom Holland, and Daisy Ridley, which are big names. So if you're fans of them, read the books too, because the movie is something. There is a little sneak peek into your next video about the Chaos Walking movie. So I told you I would talk about it a little bit. I didn't think I would talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything, and I've already talked about my thoughts over the movie, and just, I hadn't officially watched it, but I had watched clips of it, and I watched all the trailers, and I watched behind the scenes stuff. It's just, I couldn't get my hands on anything that was free because I didn't want to pay for a crappy movie. Okay, moving on though. Yeah, that was my thoughts over the Monsters and Men book. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would really recommend this. I know you can get it on Sora, which is, this isn't sponsored because no one wants to sponsor anyone with just 100 subscribers, but it's an online audiobook, ebook thing, and if you're into that, I would really recommend it. It's super easy and super convenient. You just go on your phone, get the app, and it's awesome. I would really recommend it if you don't have Sora. I don't think you can get it on Hoopla, though, but Hoopla is another good one for that. So yeah, I'm going to end this video now, officially, actually end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and please stay safe. Bye, guys!